The price of silence. I was still wearing my hospital badge when the taillight spun red across the rain. Caleb's voice slurred into a sorry that would not hold the car together. The guardrail bent, the hood crumpled, and the night swallowed the sound. I stood on the shoulder breathing coolant and fear and wished I could roll time backward. He said he could drive. 2 drinks at dinner and he called it manageable. I believed him because I wanted something easy for once. Convenience always costs more later, and later arrived on wet asphalt with glass glittering like stars. The other driver limped to the curb holding his ribs. He said he was fine, then sagged against the hood. I dialed 911 with practiced speed, my work voice steady while my heart galloped. I am a hospital billing manager. My life is codes, claims, payment plans. That night I wanted only erasure. Paramedics loaded the stranger first. Caleb stood pale, knuckles bleeding, repeating that he had messed up. He wanted to make it sound noble. It was not noble, it was reckless. I told him to breathe and face the officer when he arrived. Then a black sedan rolled up, smooth and wrong. The man who stepped out knew my name. He said the accident would be handled, that donations covered such inconveniences. He said the hospital's largest benefactor preferred discretion. He pressed an envelope into my jacket and drove away with my compliance already assumed. Caleb stared like it was poison. I told him it was a hole. The cash sat heavy in the glove box of a broken car. By morning my shame was braided with relief, because rent was late, prescriptions were overdue, and the numbers on my bank screen bled red. Police filed citations, promised a court date, and let us go. I showered with water too hot, trying to scrub off the night. The envelope sat on the table like a dare. I counted once, then again, telling myself I would return it. At my desk the next morning, a compliance reminder pinged, never accept gifts from donors. Report attempts immediately. The timing felt like a finger on my back. My chest ached as I clicked through claims, trying to work like nothing had shifted. Then I saw it. A batch from Northlake Wellness, too clean, too profitable. Another from Cedar Bluff, same pattern, same address block. Both tied to the Rourke Foundation, the very name engraved in our lobby. It was not coincidence. That afternoon a delivery arrived with no return address. Inside was a sheet of account numbers paired with a photo of Caleb at the accident. Beneath it, one sentence: the foundation helps people who help the foundation. My hands shook so hard I locked myself in the bathroom and pressed my forehead to the metal stall. Silence had a price, and it was climbing. Lila, my manager, asked quietly about unusual claims. She didn't say the word donor, but I knew she meant it. She asked for a sample report. Her eyes told me she understood more than she could speak aloud. That night I met the man from the sedan in a parking garage. I told him we could not accept the cash. He said return was not an option. He closed my fingers over the envelope and left me in the stale air. I drove to my mother's house, stared at her pill organizer half empty, and realized I hated the relief money could buy. I started a notebook. Claim numbers, vendor IDs, refund delays, initials repeating in the margins. Patterns emerged, neat as stitches. Complaints appeared from nowhere, denials multiplied, and refunds slipped sideways into accounts belonging to merchant banks. It was not sloppy billing. It was designed extraction. Then the messages came. Photos of me walking into the garage. Screenshots of Caleb's file with notes about leniency. A reminder that my mother's oncology account might qualify for relief if discretion was maintained. Clean language, filthy intent. I asked Marisol, my closest friend, to help me check some refunds. I did not explain. She followed anyway. Together we traced double billing, shell vendors, donations looped back through the same address. She looked at me with eyes that said we had crossed into something dangerous. 2 days later, Lila forwarded a request from executives to fast-track a pilot with Northlake. She copied only me and added one sentence: proceed as if this will be explained under subpoena. I understood. Rourke himself came for a luncheon, all smiles and speeches. In person he looked smaller, sharper, like the photos added a halo he never earned. His gaze crossed mine, and I felt measured. Afterward, Cole, his fixer, told me to align with the optimization plan. He said alignment mattered more than policy. His smile was smooth as glass. That night Caleb packed a bag. He said he could not watch me drown in other people's schemes. He said he would turn himself in. He left, shoulders bent, and the apartment froze. Minutes later a message pinged, a video clip of the crash edited to make him look worse. A caption said stability is a choice. My stomach turned. I contacted a reporter I trusted, using a burner number. I said I had evidence of billing fraud tied to a donor. She asked for documents. I promised samples. She connected me to a state investigator named Carrington. His voice was steady. He said documentation mattered more than outrage. He asked for a meeting where they would describe their scheme themselves. I said one was already scheduled. The pilot kickoff came. I sat at the edge of the table, recorder in my cardigan pocket. Cole presented slides about alignment and throughput. He used soft words to cover deep theft. I asked about duplicate diagnostics. He said they fell under a single umbrella of governance. I asked who held the umbrella. He said a consortium under a philanthropic group. Each phrase polished, each phrase damning. Afterward he told me I showed leadership potential. He said the foundation valued professionals who understood money and care. His tone softened when he said care, as if he believed himself. I nodded, holding the handout like it wasn't a leash. That night the investigator said the audio was useful but not enough. He needed claim IDs tied to merchant consolidations and donations. I told him I had someone who could help. I did not say Marisol's name. We met in the records room after hours, pretending to close out month end. She ran queries, exported refund batches, traced them against denials. Together we built a rope of data strong enough to choke the scheme. We hid the files under boring labels. The next morning HR received an anonymous complaint about me. It said I favored patience over sustainability. It said I undermined leadership by asking too many details. It suggested I was not aligned with culture. I laughed without humor. Lila told me to document everything. She told me to be ready for the board meeting. The boardroom gleamed with glass and water bottles. The agenda was celebration and expansion. Lila handed me the floor. I laid out 3 examples. A refund that vanished into consolidation. A diagnostic billed twice. A denial reversed, followed by an optimization fee that consumed the gain. I said the word pattern and let it hang. Rourke smiled thinly and said his team would explain later. He said the hospital could not afford to leave money on the table. His eyes told me I had crossed him. Then Carrington walked in with a sealed folder. He told the chair the state appreciated cooperation with an ongoing review of merchant consolidations tied to philanthropy. He did not look at me. He did not need to. The air changed. Executives cleared throats, called it coordination error, misunderstanding, miscommunication. The mask cracked. By afternoon the board suspended the pilot. HR dropped the complaint. Communications drafted a message about transparency. Cole left the building without a word. Rourke stared at the skyline as if betrayed. The fallout rippled. Reporters ran stories. Executives resigned. Donations shifted to other cities. Inside, we rebuilt. Marisol earned a promotion. Lila tightened contracts. Staff learned to audit refunds with compassion. Families received checks they had long given up on. Caleb finished counseling and sent a letter. He admitted his fault, promised better. He said he walked shelter dogs on weekends to steady his hands. I folded the letter into my notebook. On Sundays I drove my mother to the market, filled her fridge, watched her smile when she saw her pill organizer full. She said she was proud of me for telling the truth even when it cost more. I carried her words like armor. Months later, the foundation returned with a donation stripped of strings. The board published the agreement online for all to see. The spokesperson shook my hand and spoke of rebuilding trust. I said trust is built in daylight. The black sedan still visits in dreams. In dreams I hand back the envelope and he takes it. Reality is messier. I kept it for a night. I hated the relief. But I chose truth when it mattered. Now I keep the notebooks in a shoebox on my closet shelf. On the first page of the last one I wrote a sentence. Tell the truth when it is least convenient. That is the only way the numbers start to make sense again. The lobby still glows with plaques and names. I walk past them to the elevators that carry me to work. I run reports, call families, argue with forms. Then I close my laptop, take a breath, and call someone to tell them a refund is on the way. Their gratitude is quiet and real. The night of the crash did not define me. The price of silence did. I paid, then chose a different cost. Now, when the rain starts, I drive slower, count different things, and hold the line straighter. It ends not with applause but with Tuesday, a normal shift, a balanced ledger, my mother's photo of a pillbox filled for the week. It ends with Caleb sending me a picture of a dog with ears too big for its head. It ends with me laughing. And it ends with me pressing the elevator button, repeating the same line I will carry always. Tell the truth when it is least convenient. Then the doors close, and the numbers climb like a promise I will keep.